add precondition. It gives me sort of a, this is what's going to be changed in the application. And when I just hit add, it actually adds this precondition to this, this capitalized method. Then I can run PEX once again, and it just analyzes, and I have no, I could say, errors now or flaws, but I still have something that could be considered to be unit tests. So I can now say that this one wants to be saved as a test, so I can use save test. That creates a test project, also creates this test method and using moles to actually have a flexible structure in the project. Takes 5 Microsoft seconds. I have 3 Microsoft minutes left, so here we go. And then I just build it once again. And I'm going back to test view now. I can see that I have this capitalized 27, which is not a good name though, but it's something that can be run and integrated in my test suite, just as a unit test in this instance, or integration test also. And if I want to, I could easily have said, choose an all, and just hit save. And that will create a test suite for this entire method based on all of these arguments that's being passed back and forth with the input values and the result output parameters also that get sent out. So PEX is an interesting tool that can be used to automatically handle this aspect of unit tests and well, sort of the parameter injections into methods. Another tool is called Web Application Configuration Analyzer, something that can be downloaded, and it's using actually the rules from cat.net to analyze not only the source code that you're running currently, but actually using the rules from cat.net to analyze your computer or a remote computer instead, and also analyzing the Internet Information Server, the .NET Framework configuration settings, security settings, and also SQL Server security settings and Windows permissions like file shares and ACLs and such, which is a really cool, interesting tool that can be used for sort of penetration testing, and also that's something that could be used as making sure that our configuration of our testing environment and the development environment are more or less the same, or actually considered to be the same. And then you can export these reports as HTML or like for Excel, but you can also integrate them into Team Foundation Server, which Dag showed earlier, as work items that needs to be tracked and saved as bugs or requirements for a machine. Something that also could be interesting is something called code contracts. This is more or less kind of the same as SAL or Security Assertion Language for C++ code, but this is purely managed code. What it actually means is we inject, or we actually insert code into code with specified preconditions and postconditions and also object invariants, which actually means that what is the conditions that an object that is visible for a client when it gets instantiated has to have to be considered to be a value or a correct valued object. Code contracts is also interesting because in conjunction to SAL, which is also something that only adheres to analysis, code contracts actually get evaluated both at runtime and at compile time if you have the premium edition, it says, which is also free of charge currently. So it's something that's currently very interesting to see what is actually something that we consider to be pre and post conditions that are valuable for our product. Also something that could be downloaded for free from, if you just search, you Google on Bing, as we say, and try to find this code contracts project, you will find a lot of good information. So the last thing is actually what I would like to recommend to keep updated on these tools, and naturally not just you, but also your team or your friends or colleagues. The blogs.msdn.com/security-tools is a really cool blog, which actually does a lot of discussions on these tools that we have demonstrated. You naturally have sort of a security area on msdn.microsoft.com. I would also like to recommend the practices area, which is more of an architecture or quality aspect with other types of patterns that are interesting for architectures, also on MSDN, and naturally also Codeplex, in which we share a lot of these open source frameworks, not just from Microsoft, but also from the open source community being developed, both on the Microsoft stack and other stacks. Codeplex is also interesting because it can leverage the source control. The source code control is based on Team Foundation Server and can be used within your Visual Studio 2008 to 2010 environment, so you can work on these projects even though they are hosted and published on public websites. And shameless plug, our Swedish local MSDN website, very easy to remember. You can also find contact information to me and Dag there, our blogs, our Twitters, and everything that's. So that is the time that we had. We don't have time for any questions. I'm sorry about that. So we'll be in the booth outside the rest of this conference, asking questions, and thank you for coming.